Greetings everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Challenges Guide. For those of you who are new to the series, or may need a bit of a refresher, the Weekly Challenges are a set of 5 events that go live Thursday night, Friday morning, depending on your region. These usually consist of 4 races already in the game which you may need to be unlocked depending on your progress, while the special event usually takes the form of a 1-leg race, a time trial, a mission challenge, whichever really comes up. So with that out of the way, let's see what this week has on offer. So to kick things off, we have the European Sunday Cup 400. This is a 4-lap race around Goodwood Motor Circuit and requires a road car from the following countries. So, as you can see here, some of the examples. Now for this, I'm just going to stick to a usual easy favorite that I like. That's the Peugeot 205 GTI. So we got sports mediums on, nothing really special. Let's go for a lap around here. And of course, full acceleration. There we are. And we go right into this one known as Magic. So we go through here. And full throttle, no braking whatsoever. Not really needed, you don't have that much horsepower to chuck around, so not necessary. And of course we go through Ford water, another one that's usually full throttle and something with only this much horsepower. And now we come up where you really need to start doing some braking. Of course here, carry a little bit of speed going to St. Mary's, and here is where I intend to downshift. 4th gear if I'm by myself, but 3rd gear if I'm around other cars. That's usually what I'm doing. So we go up to Levant here, the 3rd gear, throw that into the corner and accelerate to the curb. 4th gear. And we're just powering all the way down the Levant straightaway here. Now of course, you will come across cars that may have more horsepower than the car you have. But usually this is a 400 performance one, right? So they may have the power, but not necessarily the smarts. Let me go into Woodcut here, 3rd gear for me, and I carry that all the way through the corner. And then of course the chicane, one of the trickiest bits here. Flick to the right, put to the left, all in 2nd gear. It's a little harder than it sounds, but once you nail that, it'll be perfect. So that's a lap around the Goodwood Motor Circuit. So for the race itself, the best spots I found for overtaking were Ford Water, Levant, and Woodcut. You know, lots of momentum you can carry, optimal dives and things like that. Beware of the AI Magic and St. Mary's though. They do tend to pile up a bit and slow down a lot. And of course, please don't do any overtakes in the chicane. There really is not much reward to gain from such a tight corner. So I would advise not to do that. Next, the pickup truck race. This is a 1-lap race at Fisherman's Ranch. Still requires one of these two here, the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro and the Ford F-150 SVT Raptor. And of course, we did the F-150 last time, so we'll go with the Tundra TRD. It's been a bit. And of course, we're going to change on the dirt tires. Otherwise, you won't be able to do anything if you don't change off there. So no lap for this one. A little too long for that. But quick tips here: keep straight as possible over the jumps. You never want to go in there angled because it will send you into a wall. It will send you somewhere. That I almost wiped out there. And then of course down to 1st gear for some of the really tighter corners for optimal power on exit. This is also where shorter gear ratios also come into mind because you really want to optimize the power delivery as you come out of the corners. Next is the World Rally Challenge Group B. This is a 10-lap race with 8 times fuel use and 7 times tire wear at Tokyo Expressway Central Clockwise. So, Group B cars is the only cars you're allowed to use. And I'm going to blow up the Toyota 86 Group B rally car here. It's been a bit since I've used this thing. I'm going to take it off the dirt tires, and while I change on over to the proper tires, let's do a proper lap around here. So, going down straight away here. And I go down to 5th gear for turn 1. Hopefully you will not slide like that. And then I keep it in 5th gear, out of the throttle, then back in the throttle, through 2, 3, and 4 here. So very fast, quick sections, one after another. And you won't really have to worry about the turn faucet brake right here. And now I just off and then back on the throttle there. You won't get close to the wall if you carry the most speed like I do, but it'll work out just fine, don't worry about it. And then brake just as that downhill starts for 6, you get to 4th gear, through the tunnel, and then back to 4th, mostly for the rotation, and then back onto the throttle here, and start shifting through this sector here. Very tricky depending on the car, and also if you got these in stock setups like I do. So, brake down to 4th gear through here. You can do 3rd if you want. I feel I can carry a lot more momentum in 4th gear. And then brake. This one, we're in turn 14, 3rd gear, and then it's right on the power. Putting it down first, surprisingly. And that's a lap around Tokyo Expressway Central Clockwise. And now onto the race. So with this, it's tire wear and fuel use. So racing mediums, ideal tire to start, at least for me. Short shift for fuel management, which will carry into the one-stop strategy where you put on lap 8 for softs, as opposed to lap 5 or anything. At least that's the ideal strat. Something I did forget to mention is it can rain, so have those there just in case. It's very rare, but its possibility is never zero. Next is the World Tour Car 800, another 10-lap race with 7 times use and 6 times tire wear at Watkins Glen long course. So 800 performance points or less can be a Group 3 car, also doesn't have to be a Group 3 car. For this, I choose the Ferrari 296 GT3, one of my favorite Group 3 cars as of late. So you can see right here, and we're going to switch it off to a more optimal tire. Let's do a lap rider. So, go down the front straightaway here, down to 2nd we go, out of that corner, onto the curve, the 4th gear, and we're going right through the S's here. Ideal passing spot at times because the AI will get out of throttle. So we go. And right into the bus stop if you came here. And down to 3rd if you want to be safe, but I tend to do 4th gear just to really push it through here. And then the carousel is likewise the same. And then accelerate right on now as we go down the chute. Now of course we start right here with the lace of the boot. We accelerate right on out. And then we come up to what is the toe of the boot. Down to 2nd gear. And we accelerate right on out. It's a quick little section here that goes uphill and then drops down. And before that, we're right down into the heel of the boot. 2nd gear, turn in and accelerate right out to the curve here. Let's see over here. And then break down to 2nd gear and turn 9. Accelerate right on out. And then through turns 10 to 11, I actually just get off the gas here. Downforce will carry me all the way through to the curve here. For 11 though, brake down 3rd gear, and accelerate right on out. Carry all the momentum down the front straight. And that is a lap around the Watkins Glen long course. And now, on to the race itself. So, another 10-lap race, another fuel use and tire wear. So again, starting on racing mediums, my preferred strat. One stop, the main strategy. For this time, pitting on lap 6 for softs, usually my go-to distance. And the race can be cheese with the Mercedes CLK-LM and the BMW McLaren F1 GTR if you do not care for the challenge. The option is there for you, but that's what it's on hand. And finally, the special race, the Renault Twingo 1 MiG. This is a 3-lap race at Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, and of course requires nothing more than the Renault Twingo. How about that? So, let's do a lap around here. So this one, it's a bit of a slow lap, but I mean, that just means you can take more of the detail in there. So we're going around here. Let me make it right up. A turn 1 here, or what is usually known as Paddock Hill Bend. So 3rd gear, and then accelerate all the way onto the power on this hill. And then right up here, when I go into 2nd gear for Druids, we turn hard into this corner, exit right on out to this curb over here. Think of that as your track limit. And here I usually get out of the throttle for 3rd and exit onto Graham Hill Bend and then Cooper Straight. And then just carry that speed all the way into Surtees, just this left-hander, and a quick flick to the right for Claren. Before we then get on the brakes, 2nd gear, and then fully accelerate through Clark Curve. You get just some good rotation, and if you've done it just right, get a good run and set up a pass as you get on to Brabham Straight. And if we've done everything right, that is a full lap around the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. So now, on to the race itself. So the ideal spots I found for overtaking are Druids, preferably not like that, Graham Hill Bend, and Court Curve. Now beware the AI in Paddock Hill Bend, Surtees, and McLaren. If you're going to do a pass there, there's going to be a bunch of, bunching up and repeated braking. So that is it for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it, whether you've just logged in or you haven't logged in in quite some time. If you enjoyed this, then give it a like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to tick the bell icon so you'll be notified when these go live, typically Fridays at 1 p.m. So that is it for this one, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.